Hi everyone, and welcome to Three Charts in One with me, Richard Perry, market analyst for Infonox on Friday the 1st of July, the first day of Q3. Not a great deal has changed in these market outlooks, but what we've got is three charts, and I'm looking at three commodity-based charts today. We've got the Aussie dollar, which is moving lower. We've also got gold, which is moving lower, and silver breaking a key support. So let's get straight into it with this Aussie chart. What we've seen is this Australian dollar trending lower. Okay, basically over the last, what was this, 2 months, it's been trading in this sideways range, but it looks like it's now starting to break down, having been trending lower within this, all these moving averages moving lower. Negative configuration now really fairly solid on that RSI, and it's now has broken the support, and I'll show you the implications of this support breach. We can see on the weekly chart, if I go out a couple of levels, it really does start to get a bit nasty, doesn't it? It starts to get to levels, 2-year lows really, and well, the next support I suppose starts to come in around that 65 area, 65, 60, 64 figure, and yeah, it really does look as though it's breaking down. It hasn't yet confirmed, obviously it needs to do so on a closing basis today, but it has already tested intraday today, and it's looking pretty negative. Here on the 4-hour chart, you can see this, all this blue area is the old support that I've been noting. Essentially, if that really does get broken, then that becomes a basis of resistance, and that could be an area where sellers start to look at opportunities. 68.60 area down towards that 68.20, 68.30 breakdown point. But look at this 4-hour RSI. Any rallies are being sold into back towards that 50 point on the RSI. It does certainly look as though it's starting to break down. And first day of the Q3 doesn't really look as though it's changing a great deal. And onto the gold chart. Well, again, downside and downtrend all intact. Moving averages falling over. It's been drifting lower in the past couple of weeks, but in the last few days it's started to accelerate lower, and it's now broken below that support at 1805, that reaction low that we had back in mid-June. It's broken that this morning, and that's now opened the 1786 mark. And I'll go onto the weekly chart to show you what that means. Well, that's the start. I mean, essentially that's a key support there, but it sort of brings it back towards the mid 1700s potentially, because all these reaction lows that we saw from 2021 and into the early months of 2022 then start to become tested. But look at this, momentum is sort of deteriorating on the weekly chart, not decisively yet, but on the daily chart, it is it is sort of confirming the breakdown, which would be a move that also gives it downside potential, which is the worry I would have. And essentially, again, as with the Aussie, you could argue that that's a trading range breaking down. Then you sort of can measure the range distance and then project that lower. So it starts to look as though, well, you're looking at 1870s down towards the 1780s. So that's about $90 worth of downside targets. So that certainly looks like the low 1700s comes into play potentially, and it looks like downside moves and rallies are being sold into. On the 4-hour chart, you can see that sort of support, old support around 1815 to 1805 becomes a basis of resistance really, and obviously we've got that big downtrend. It doesn't look great, does it, on that gold chart? And finally on silver, even worse. Again, a range, similar range to what we've had on gold. The downtrend is in there, but it's decisively broken down. And on silver, the implications of this breakdown are on the weekly chart, back a level, and you can see this. We're coming back towards, if I get the crosshair on that, this is the next band of support here, this sort of blue area, 1895, you could argue up towards 1950, but essentially these 1890s area is likely to be seen now. That is a massive basis of support broken. You've got the back on the daily chart, the momentum is decisively negative now, and with downside potential. 21, the last big sell-off got to, and we're just around the 30 mark now, and it's just accelerating lower. Intraday rallies are a chance to sell, but this overhead supply now comes in 2045 up towards 2060, basis of resistance. Rallies are a chance to sell. It doesn't look great, does it? And yeah, it really does look as though that this is turning pretty sour on this silver chart now. Go on one more level, you can see that as I said, overhead supply really does come in here. So any technical rallies are a chance to sell. So I wish you good luck in your trading today, and I will speak to you again next week. Thank you very much.